Get up. Stand up. Before you touch your phone, before you listen to the world, you listen to you. Say it. Believe it. Burn it into your bloodstream. The world isn't waiting. It's watching. And you were never born to blend in. You were built to break limits. Now go. Build. Dominate. I create my reality through my thoughts and actions. This is not a motivational quote. It is the unshakable law of life. Everything I touch, everything I achieve, and everything I fail to reach is a reflection of the thoughts I allow and the actions I choose. The life I see around me isn't luck. It's not fate. It's the outcome of decisions stacked on top of decisions, built by the beliefs I enforce in my mind and the habits I carry in my day. Nothing about my future is written unless I write it myself. My thoughts are not just fleeting ideas. They are blueprints. Every moment I allow doubt, fear, or laziness into my mental space, I give power to weakness. But when I wake up and feed my mind strength, vision, and clarity, I forge a mindset that builds empires. My thoughts guide my hands shape my days, and my days build the structure of my destiny. That's how I win. Not in one big leap, but in small, precise mental victories every morning. When I tell myself I am focused, I become focused. When I tell myself I am powerful, I begin to act with power. This is not magic. It is cause and effect. The mind doesn't argue with what I repeatedly declare. It accepts it, absorbs it, and begins to enforce it. And once my mind accepts strength as my default, my actions follow without hesitation. That's when results appear. That's when transformation begins, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. I don't wait for motivation to appear out of nowhere. I don't pray for a lucky break or lean on others to lift me. I wake up and remind myself that this life is mine to build or break. If I choose strong thoughts, I get strong direction. If I pair that with relentless execution, then nothing can stop me. Every great builder, every leader, every self-made success followed this same rule. They became what they constantly told themselves they already were. So I do not speak weakness into my life. I do not say maybe. I do not say I'll try. I say I will. I say I must. I say it's already mine. I just have to claim it. And then I act in a way that proves those words to be true. Action is the only real test of belief. If I say I want greatness, but my habits speak laziness, then I'm lying to myself. That's why I make my speech and my steps align. What I think is where I go. What I do is what I become. Discipline is my language. Vision is my compass. There's no time for excuses, delays, or distractions. Every second is a tool I can use or a weapon I can waste, and I refuse to waste it. I remind myself daily that my time is not guaranteed, but my control over this moment is. I can't change yesterday, and I can't guarantee tomorrow, but I can own now. And if I own enough nows, I will own the future. There's power in knowing this. I am not the result of circumstances. I am the creator of outcomes. No one owes me success. The world owes me nothing. I owe myself everything. That's why I take full control of how I think and what I do. Victims wait. Builders act. I do not let fear whisper into my mind. I face it. I override it. I destroy it. Fear only has power when I obey it. The moment I challenge it, it shrinks. The moment I push through it, it dies. Success is not reserved for the talented, the lucky, or the privileged. It is earned by the focused, the relentless, the self-directed. Every day that I get up and declare strength over my life, and then follow that declaration with action, I multiply my power. I don't aim to survive. I aim to dominate. I'm not here to be average. I'm here to break the mold, shatter ceilings, and set new standards. Not just for others, but for myself. I build habits that align with my vision. I train my mind before I train my body. I sharpen my thoughts before I chase goals. And when obstacles appear, I remind myself, this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. Every struggle is a forge, every challenge is fuel. While others complain, I convert pressure into performance. While others wait for the right mood, I move with intent. I am not led by feelings. I am led by purpose. Every morning I return to this truth. My reality is not accidental. It is intentional. My future doesn't respond to hope. It responds to command. I don't need permission to rise. I don't need approval to build. All I need is the discipline to tell myself the truth and the courage to live like it's real. I was born capable. But capability means nothing without responsibility. So I take full ownership. I am the architect. I am the executor. I am the answer. I create my reality through my thoughts and actions, and starting today I will create nothing less than greatness. Today is my opportunity to dominate, not hesitate. I don't wake up to wait. I don't rise just to exist. I rise to take command. Each morning is not a restart, it is a proving ground, a chance to show whether I'm serious about what I say I want. There's no room for hesitation because hesitation is the thief of momentum. One pause, one delay, one moment of weakness can cost me progress. But when I move with precision and purpose, the day bends to my will. I don't compete with others. I compete with my potential. That's the only enemy that matters. I don't care what anyone else is doing. I care whether I'm doing what I said I would do. That's the game. That's the fight. And if I don't dominate it, the world will dominate me. The clock is ticking whether I act or not, and I refuse to let time pass while I sit in indecision. Action is power. Hesitation is surrender. People wait for motivation. I don't. I train my mind to go, regardless of how I feel. I train myself to act, especially when I don't want to, because that's where the edge is built, right at the point where most people stop. While they overthink, I execute. Or while they scroll, I sharpen. While they wish, I work. I don't ask, should I do it now? I say, it's already done. This isn't about being busy. It's about being deliberate. Every move I make must bring me closer to what I'm building. Every word I say must carry weight. Every step must be loaded with intent. Dominating the day doesn't mean doing more. It means doing what matters, doing it right, and doing it with power. No distractions, no noise, just laser focus and forward motion. Weak thoughts are not allowed in my mind when the day begins. I silence them before they speak. I don't give fear a seat at the table. I don't give doubt a second to breathe. I fill my head with clarity, with purpose, with direction. There's no waiting for a sign. I am the sign. There's no hoping for a push. I am the push. The world responds to force, not wishes. It moves for those who refuse to stay still. Every opportunity I have today could be the breakthrough I've been working for, but I'll never know if I hesitate. The door doesn't stay open forever. The chance doesn't wait for convenience, so I don't wait for perfection. I move, adjust, and improve on the way. If I fall, I get back up. If it's hard, I get harder. If it's slow, I push faster. No resistance can outlast a relentless spirit. When I walk into a room, I carry presence. Not because I want attention, but because I know who I am and what I came to do. I don't shrink to make others comfortable. I don't dim to blend in. My goals are not small. My work is not average. I operate on a different level because I demand more from myself. And that begins every morning with the choice to dominate. Domination doesn't mean control over others. It means total control over myself, over my reactions, over my discipline, over my consistency. I am not ruled by moods. I am ruled by mission. I don't need the day to be easy. I just need to remember what I'm here for. The moment I lock in on that, nothing can shake me. Distractions lose their grip. Doubt loses its voice. And excuses? They vanish under the weight of pure determination. I hold the pen. I write the story. If I hesitate, the page stays blank. If I dominate, I fill it with legacy. I am not here to blend into the background of life. I am here to write my name in history through results, through discipline, through absolute fire in the way I show up. And that starts now, not later, not someday, now. There's a version of me I haven't met yet. Stronger, smarter, sharper, more focused. That version is waiting at the end of the road I'm building today. I either get closer to it or I drift away. There is no neutral. Every action counts. Every choice is a vote for the man or woman I want to become. And I'm not voting with hesitation. I'm voting with execution. So I don't waste this morning. I don't delay. I don't scroll aimlessly or drift mindlessly. I build. I push. I lead. I sharpen. Because today is mine and I will not hand it over to weakness. The time is now. The power is here. The responsibility is mine. Today is my opportunity to dominate, not hesitate. And I won't waste a second of it. I am unstoppable when I decide to be. That's not a wish. It's a fact. Nothing can hold me back once I fully commit. The moment I flip the internal switch from maybe to must, everything changes. The doubts get silenced. The fear gets ignored. The distractions lose their power. Because when I decide, truly decide, I become a force that refuses to yield. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they never truly decide to succeed. They want results, but they leave room for retreat. I don't. I remove the back door. I destroy the exit plan. I burn the excuses before they even take shape. Because when I decide to become unstoppable, I eliminate all options except forward. That's the power of commitment. Real, full, no turning back commitment. I've learned that nothing outside of me is stronger than what lives within me. No obstacle, no opinion, no rejection can override the power of a made-up mind. When I walk into a challenge knowing that I've already committed to the outcome, the fight is half won. I don't hope it works. I make it work. I don't wait for a sign. I become the signal. My belief becomes my engine. My effort becomes my proof. And once I start, I don't stop until the goal is finished, not just imagined. This world responds to energy. It moves for those who are relentless. It doesn't give to those who wish. It yields to those who pursue with everything they have. And when I decide to be unstoppable, I stop asking for permission. I stop needing reassurance. I stop negotiating with mediocrity. I lock in. I narrow my focus. I drown out the noise and amplify the vision. Every person who has built something legendary made that same decision to be unstoppable. Not when it was easy, not when it felt good, but in the face of resistance, in the presence of pain, under pressure, and surrounded by reasons to quit. They chose power over pity. They chose discipline over distraction. And that choice, repeated every day, created momentum that couldn't be broken. I carry that same power. I don't need more talent. I don't need the perfect environment. What I need and already have is the ability to decide, the ability to take command of my mind and force my body to follow, the ability to walk into difficulty and tell it, you're not bigger than me, the ability to fall and rise without complaint, without pause, without loss of direction. I'm not waiting to feel ready. Ready is a trap. There is no perfect moment. There is only the decision to start and the resolve to keep going. Once I decide that nothing will stop me, I stop giving attention to the things that used to slow me down. The critics fade, the past fades, the weakness fades. All that remains is the mission, the fire, the forward motion. There are days when my energy will be low, days when I'll face failure, days when the results don't come quickly. But none of that matters when I've already decided I'm going to finish what I started. That's what being unstoppable means. It's not about being fearless. It's not about being perfect. It's about continuing regardless of the condition. It's about pushing when the fuel is gone, about rising when I'm tired, about showing up when comfort begs me to stay home. My circumstances don't define me. My decisions do. I've seen people with every reason to fail, rise, and conquer because they refuse to let their situation make them small. I've seen people with every advantage fall to the ground because they never decided to stand tall. It's not about what I have. It's about who I choose to become. And I choose strength. I choose fire. I choose relentless forward motion. I've burned too many bridges to go back. I've sacrificed too much to play small. I've come too far to stop short. When I say I'm unstoppable, it's not a slogan. It's a declaration. It means I've chosen to live in such a way that no excuse can find a place in my life. It means I fight for my vision, not just when it's visible, but especially when it's still unseen. There is no outside force coming to push me. There is no miracle coming to save me. I am the force. I am the miracle. I am the storm. And I've decided that no wall, no doubt, no setback will break me. I don't have time to pause for fear. I don't have room to carry regret. I'm too focused, too determined, too committed to anything less than full domination of my path. I am unstoppable when I decide to be. And I decide that every single day. Discipline, not emotion, controls my day. That is the law I live by. My feelings don't make decisions, my principles do. I don't let mood swings dictate my work. I don't let fatigue rewrite my mission. I don't let temporary emotions interfere with permanent goals. Discipline is the difference between people who dream and people who do. It's the line that separates the average from the elite, the talkers from the finishers, the ones who start from the ones who endure. Every time I choose discipline, I take control of my life. And every time I let emotion take over, I hand that control away. I wake up to win, not to wonder. I don't check how I feel before I act because I said I would. Whether I'm tired, stressed, unmotivated, or uninspired, I still move forward. That's the code. That's the edge. Because while most people only work when it's easy, I've trained myself to work especially when it's not. That's when character is built. That's when results compound. That's when progress becomes unstoppable. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when I don't want to do it. Emotion says, skip it, take a break, do it later. Discipline says, get up, show up, shut up, and put in the reps. Emotion is temporary. It fluctuates. It lies. It tries to convince me that comfort is more valuable than growth. But I've seen what comfort does. It kills momentum. It breeds regret. It turns potential into pain. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It's sharp. It's cold when it needs to be, and it never fails me. I don't rely on being motivated. That's weakness disguised as strategy. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings fade. But discipline is forged. It is chosen. It is enforced. If I only act when I feel like it, I'm already finished. The truth is, the most productive days I've had started with me not wanting to do a damn thing, but I did it anyway. That's the standard. That's how excellence is built, not with hype, but with consistency. I measure success by how well I keep my word when no one's watching. Emotion will tell me I deserve to relax. Discipline reminds me that greatness is earned, not given. Emotion wants comfort now. Discipline wants legacy later. And every time I follow discipline, I strengthen the voice inside me that leads, the voice that commands, the voice that builds a life worth remembering. I don't confuse being in the mood with being prepared. Preparation is built through daily disciplined action, not one big burst, but small deliberate moves, repeated every day without compromise. The world doesn't care how I feel. My results don't care if I'm tired. Success doesn't show up for the emotional. It shows up for the consistent. And that's what I am, consistent even when it's inconvenient. When my alarm goes off, I don't debate. When it's time to train, I don't delay. When I said I'd work, I work. My schedule is non-negotiable because discipline has already made the decisions. Emotion wastes time with indecision. Discipline saves time with clarity. That's why I win. I've removed the debate. I don't ask. I execute. There's power in being emotionless when it's time to execute. Not cold, but controlled. Not heartless, but focused. I don't need to feel inspired to do what needs to be done. I simply honor the mission. The emotion may come later once I've accomplished the work. But it does not lead me. It does not control me. I lead it. When I slip, it's because I allowed emotion to drive. That's when the mind gets soft. That's when the excuses show up in disguise. Just this once, you've done enough, no one will know. But discipline knows. Discipline sees every slip. And it doesn't make excuses, it makes corrections. So I correct myself before life does. I hold the line. I don't let one misstep turn into a pattern. That's the difference. Discipline brings me back to the standard fast. This is how I stay ahead. Not by being better than anyone else, but by being better than my emotions. I don't need to be superhuman. I just need to be consistent. Ruthlessly consistent. That's how the gap is created. That's how separation happens between who I was and who I am becoming. I close that gap with discipline every day, every task, every decision. I've realized that emotion is noise, but discipline is a signal, and I don't follow noise. I tune into signal. I follow structure. I follow strategy, because strategy wins battles. Emotion loses them. I'm not here to feel good every day. I'm here to finish what I started. I'm here to sharpen myself through fire, through fatigue, through resistance. And the tool I use for that sharpening? It's discipline. Always discipline. When the day is over, I don't ask if it was fun. I ask, did I honor the standard? That's how I measure success. Not by comfort, but by completion. Not by ease, but by execution. Discipline makes me dangerous. Discipline makes me dependable. And discipline, real, daily, unbreakable discipline, is the reason I will not be stopped. Every challenge is a chance to prove my power. I don't run from pressure, I rise inside it. I don't avoid difficulty, I embrace it because it reveals who I really am. Every obstacle that appears in my path isn't there to break me. It's there to expose the strength I haven't tapped into yet. When most people see a problem, I see potential. When they flinch, I focus. Because pressure doesn't crush the prepared, it forges them. It's in those moments where the weak tap out and the strong level up. I wasn't built for an easy life. I wasn't made to avoid resistance. I was built to dominate through it. Every challenge that tries to block me becomes the very thing that sharpens my edge. I don't complain about the test. I conquer it. I don't pray for fewer problems. I demand stronger solutions from myself. The challenge isn't my enemy. It's my training ground. It's where I get sharper, faster, smarter, harder to stop. This is what separates the few from the many. When the many panic, the few perform. And I am one of the few. I don't fold when life gets heavy. I apply pressure back. I don't collapse when things go wrong. I adapt, adjust, and move again. Because challenge doesn't mean failure. It means opportunity. It's my shot to show the world, and more importantly, myself, just how focused, disciplined, and unbreakable I really am. There is no growth in ease. Growth lives in adversity. It lives in the setbacks, the failures, the late nights, the early mornings, the frustrations that test every ounce of your will. And in those moments, I don't wish them away. I lean in. I rise above. I prove to myself that what I've built inside is greater than anything outside trying to pull me down. That's real power, and it only shows up when it's tested. When the pressure rises, I don't ask, why me? Or I say, let's go. I know that on the other side of that storm is a stronger, more focused version of me waiting to be uncovered. The grind, the discomfort, the struggle, all of it is shaping me into someone the old me couldn't handle. And I welcome that. I don't fear the fight. I live for it. Most people pray for comfort. I pray for the kind of trials that build legends. I don't want an easy road. I want a road that demands greatness from me every step of the way, because that's the road that turns a name into a legacy. That's the path that makes you undeniable. Not popular, powerful, not loud, lethal. That's what I'm after. Every challenge is a test of truth. Not what I say I believe, but what I prove I believe when it's hard. Anyone can be confident when everything is going right. Anyone can show up when it's convenient. But who keeps swinging when the hits keep coming? Who keeps climbing when the mountain just won't end? That's what defines the real ones. That's where my character is carved. Not in talk, but in the trial. Challenges aren't setbacks, they're setups. They prepare me for levels I can't access without going through the fire first. So I go through it. I don't dodge the pain, I absorb it and convert it into discipline. I don't run from the pressure, I stand still and let it shape me. Because the more I endure, the more I expand. The more I overcome, the more dangerous I become. And that's the goal. Progress through resistance. Power through pain. Growth through grind. Every time I rise from a challenge, I gain leverage. Mental, emotional, spiritual strength that no one can see but everyone will feel. It's quiet power. Silent dominance. I don't need to announce it. I just let my results speak. Let my discipline echo. Let my presence shift the room. That's what pressure builds. Not hype, real substance. And that substance is exactly what I bring into every single day. I remind myself that nobody owes me an easy path. The struggle is part of the agreement. If I want to be exceptional, I must be willing to endure what most people avoid. I must look at adversity and say, this is the price. And I pay it in full, every single time. No shortcuts, no pity, no pause. The power I'm proving isn't about ego, it's about self-respect. It's about knowing that I kept showing up when quitting looked easier, that I kept building when no one was watching, that I kept moving forward when everything told me to stop. That's where pride comes from, not the win, but the war I had to fight to get it. That's the kind of power that can't be given. It must be earned in the grind, in the pressure, in the challenge. So when the next obstacle shows up, and it will, I won't flinch. I'll stand up and meet it head on, because I don't fear challenges. I use them. Every challenge is a chance to prove my power, and I never miss that chance. Excuses are lies. Execution is truth. That's the raw, unfiltered reality. Excuses may sound clever. They may sound justified. But underneath every excuse is a quiet surrender, a refusal to own the moment, a decision to settle for less. And I refuse to live like that. I don't dress up hesitation as logic. I don't disguise fear as reasoning. I know what excuses are. They are mental parasites, built to protect comfort and destroy greatness. And the only cure is execution. Every time I give myself an excuse, I lose. Not on the scoreboard yet, but internally, quietly, deep within the discipline it takes to build a life that matters. That's where the damage happens, and it stacks. One excuse becomes two. Two become 10. Before I know it, my potential is buried under a mountain of rationalizations that sound like truth but are really cowardice. Excuses are smooth. They're easy to accept. They whisper things like, "You're tired, you've done enough, it's not the right time, no one else is doing it either." But I'm not here to listen to lies. I'm here to build. And the only thing that builds is execution. Relentless, consistent, no matter what execution. That's where results come from. That's where power is born, not in ideas, but in action. I don't care how good my intentions are. I don't care how motivated I feel. If I don't move, if I don't act, if I don't do what needs to be done, none of it means anything. The world doesn't pay for potential. It rewards proof. And proof is found in performance. You want to separate yourself from the average? Start executing when everyone else is still making excuses. That's the dividing line. That's the filter for who rises and who remains stuck. Every day I'm faced with two paths, the path of justification and the path of results. One is paved with stories I tell myself about why I can't. The other is paved with habits I've built that prove I can. I know where each path leads. Excuses end in regret. Execution ends in respect, self-respect first, and then the respect of others. Not because I talked about what I was going to do, but because I actually did it. There is no glory in excuses, only temporary comfort. And I'm not here for comfort. I'm here for conquest. I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to finish. Excuses kill progress in silence. Execution shouts louder than any words ever could. When I execute, I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to argue. The work does the talking. The results tell the story. And the story is one of discipline, hunger, and undeniable drive. It's easy to fall in love with goals, to romanticize the destination, but execution isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not inspirational most days. It's repetition. It's routine. It's grinding through resistance when no one is watching. It's waking up early when I'm tired. It's showing up even when the motivation is gone. That's execution. And that's what builds unshakable belief. Excuses are built on feelings. Execution is built on standards. And I don't live by how I feel. I live by what I've decided. I've made a decision to be excellent, to be relentless, to be consistent. And I will not negotiate with that standard, no matter how convincing the excuse may sound. If I said I was going to do it, I do it. End of story. Every excuse I've ever made has one thing in common. It got me nothing. No progress, no pride, no forward motion. Just stagnation, frustration, and wasted time. But every time I've executed, especially when I didn't want to, I walked away stronger, sharper, more dangerous. Not because of what I did, but because of who I became through the doing. That's the reward. That's the real victory. I don't need the perfect plan. I don't need the perfect circumstances. I just need to act, to take the first step, to move in the direction of my goal with urgency and intention. Because execution compounds. Each action builds momentum. Each repetition reinforces identity. I become what I consistently do. If I execute like a machine, I become unstoppable. If I let excuses speak, I stay exactly where I am. There's always going to be a reason not to, always. But those reasons don't exist to be obeyed. They exist to be crushed. Excuses are tests in disguise. They ask me, how bad do you really want it? My answer isn't in my words. It's in what I do next. That's the test. That's where my power is either proven or forgotten. So I silence the lies. I shut down the delays. I reject the false comfort that excuses offer, because I know who I am. I'm a builder, a finisher, a leader, and my identity is not shaped by what I say. It's shaped by what I execute, repeatedly, relentlessly, without exception. Excuses are lies, execution is truth. And I live by truth every single day. I am building an empire, not wasting time. Every second I spend with purpose. I don't scroll aimlessly. I don't sit in doubt. I don't talk about plans. I execute them. This isn't a hobby. This isn't some half-hearted ambition. This is war, and I am building something massive, something unshakable, something legendary. Empires aren't built in comfort, and they're never built by people who treat their time like it's infinite. I treat mine like gold, because that's exactly what it is. People waste time like they're promised tomorrow. I move like I might not get another shot. I don't have time to waste on things that don't push me forward. I don't entertain distractions, gossip, drama, or pointless conversations. I'm not available for anything that doesn't align with what I'm constructing. I don't care how small the brick is. If it moves me closer to the vision, I lay it. And I lay another, and another, until what I've built towers over the excuses I used to make. Every day I wake up is a reminder that time is limited. I've seen what happens when people wait. They become professional planners and lifetime procrastinators. Not me. I'm too locked in. I'm too focused. My empire doesn't build itself. Every habit, every decision, every hour matters. My future family, my legacy, my name depends on what I do today. And I treat that with respect, with fire, with absolute urgency. I'm not just working, I'm creating something bigger than myself, a structure that lasts long after I'm gone. And empires aren't built in one day. They're built through thousands of intentional days. Quiet work, relentless repetition, days where no one sees me, days where the only thing I have is my vision and my discipline. But I keep showing up, I keep stacking wins. And while the world sleeps, I build. Most people don't get it. That's fine. Most people aren't meant to. This path is not for the average. It's for the obsessed, the ones who know what they want and are willing to cut off anything that slows them down. I don't take breaks from purpose. I don't negotiate with laziness. I don't ask for balance. I ask for results. Because every day wasted is another day delayed. And delay is the enemy of domination. I've already wasted time before. I've seen what it gets you. Regret, softness, mediocrity. I've walked that road. But I made a decision, a real one, that I would never go back. Now, every moment I'm awake, I'm working the blueprint, sometimes in silence, sometimes in chaos, but always with direction, because my time isn't for sale. My attention isn't up for grabs. My energy is reserved for greatness. Every message I ignore, every party I skip, every distraction I shut down, it's not sacrifice, it's strategy. It's discipline. I don't fear missing out on entertainment. I fear missing out on my potential, because that's what this is about, becoming everything I was built to be. And that only happens when I move with intensity, with precision, with unshakable commitment to my empire. Building an empire isn't just about money or fame. It's about impact. It's about freedom. It's about creating a life so structured and powerful that I never have to beg for time, for approval, or for rest. It's about building a future where I call the shots, not the economy, not the clock, not the system. And the only way to build that future is to stop wasting the present. Some people chase comfort like it's a reward. I chase responsibility. I chase results. I'm not looking for easy. I'm looking for worth it. I'm not in this to coast. I'm in this to conquer. And that mindset shapes everything. How I eat, how I train, how I speak, how I think. Everything is geared toward building something greater than just existence. It's not about grinding nonstop. It's about being intentional nonstop, knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing, knowing where I'm headed, and knowing that every distraction I defeat is another layer added to the empire. Every time I say no to comfort, I say yes to legacy. Every time I choose discipline over desire, I'm reinforcing the foundation of something unbreakable. I don't get distracted by opinions. I don't slow down for people who gave up on their own dreams. I'm too far in, too far ahead. I'm not building for validation. I'm building because I refuse to leave this world without leaving something behind that proves I was here, that I built with purpose, that I lived with force, that I made every day count. I am building an empire, not wasting time. That's the difference. That's the code. That's the reason I win. And I will keep building, brick by brick, day by day, hour by hour, until the world has no choice but to recognize what I've created. I don't need motivation. I need consistency. Motivation is fleeting, fragile, and unreliable. It shows up when it wants to, not when I need it most. But consistency? Consistency is the force that builds empires, shapes identities, and separates the obsessed from the occasional. I don't rely on how I feel. I rely on who I've decided to become. And who I've decided to become does not wait for a burst of inspiration. He shows up regardless, every single day. Most people make the mistake of thinking motivation is the key. They chase videos, quotes, music, trying to ignite a spark. But sparks fade. Fire doesn't sustain itself by accident. It's fed. And what feeds it isn't emotion. It's discipline. It's routine. It's the habit of showing up when you don't feel like it. That's where the real growth happens. That's where the shift occurs, from interested to committed. When I say I don't need motivation, it's because I've learned to move without it. I've trained my mind to obey the mission, not the mood. Consistency is about trust, trusting myself to show up not once, not sometimes, but every time. Trusting that I will keep going when the world doesn't applaud, when no one is watching, when everything around me says, take a break. That's when consistency becomes power. I don't need loud energy. I need locked-in focus. I need structure, habits, systems that don't care if I'm tired or discouraged. Because those emotions come and go, but my goals, they stay. They're waiting for me to stop flirting with effort and finally commit to excellence. And excellence doesn't care how I feel today. It only responds to repeated action. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is strategic. I'm not interested in hype. I'm interested in results. I felt motivated and failed. I felt uninspired and still won. That's the truth. That's the difference. Motivation might get me started once or twice, but only consistency will finish the job. Only consistency turns action into identity. I don't just want to achieve something. I want to become someone reliable, relentless, ruthless about keeping promises to himself. And that happens through repetition, through locking in when others check out, through building habits so strong that skipping a day feels foreign. I don't want to wake up and wonder whether I'll show up. I want to wake up and know that I will, without question. That's what consistency does. It removes negotiation. It removes guesswork. It turns effort into reflex. There are days when I don't want to show up, but I do, because I've learned that the days I least want to are the most important. Those are the days that build something inside of me. Anyone can move when it's easy. Anyone can act when it's fun. But the greats are forged in the fire of I don't feel like it, and still showing up anyway. That's where greatness is built, quietly, brutally, relentlessly. I don't need to feel inspired to honor my commitments. I made them when I was clear, and I keep them when I'm not. That's the standard. That's the separation. Because most people fall apart when motivation disappears. But not me. I rise, I lock in, I double down. My consistency isn't a sometimes thing. It's who I am. It's what I live by. I've seen what inconsistency costs. It costs time. It costs progress. It destroys confidence. One missed day becomes two becomes a week, and before you know it, you're back at zero. I don't play that game. I don't reset. I build. I stack day after day, one brick at a time. That's the formula. That's how I win. Because here's the truth. Consistency beats talent. It beats motivation. It beats inspiration. It beats excuses. It beats everything. A focused, consistent person will run laps around the talented person who only shows up when he feels like it. And I refuse to be the latter. I choose to be the one who's dangerous not because of his hype, but because of his habits. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, it's work. Uninterrupted, undistracted, unshakable work. But that's the price, that's the path. And I don't just accept it, I own it. Because I know what's waiting for me on the other side of consistency. Not just results, not just success. Mastery, power, peace. A life I built brick by brick, without shortcuts, without skipping steps, without waiting for the perfect mood. I'm not here to chase motivation. I'm here to outlast it, to bury it with daily action, to show up on the worst days and still deliver. Because that's what makes me dangerous. Not how I feel, but how I move regardless. So I don't wait for a spark. I bring the fire every day, without fail, without excuse. I don't need motivation, I need consistency, and I am that, now, always. My mind obeys what I command it to believe. It does not operate on truth, it operates on repetition. It listens to my voice, not the noise of the world. Whatever I speak into it daily with authority and certainty becomes its law. That's power. That's leverage. My mind becomes a servant to the dominant thoughts I feed it. If I say I am weak, it will find ways to confirm it. If I say I am strong, it will move mountains to prove it. The choice is mine. The command is mine. I own that power, and I use it relentlessly. Most people don't understand this. They let their mind control them instead of taking control of it. They let fear run wild. They let doubt sit at the head of the table. But not me. I am the architect. I build my inner world with intention. I choose the blueprint. I don't tolerate thoughts that sabotage me. I reject them the second they arise, because the mind, left unchecked, becomes a battlefield. But when trained, it becomes a weapon. Every day I speak to myself like the leader I am. I don't wait to feel confident. I command my mind to believe I already am. I don't entertain stories that weaken me. I delete them. I overwrite them. I install beliefs that make me dangerous, because what I believe, I become. And that belief starts with what I tell myself, over and over until my mind stops questioning it and starts obeying it. There is no room in my mental space for hesitation, confusion, or pity. I speak in absolutes. I move with certainty. My mind does not get to negotiate with the mission. When I say, we're doing this, it listens. And when doubt whispers, I get louder. I drown it out with truth, my truth. The truth I wrote, the truth I chose. Not the one handed to me by society, not the one shaped by weakness or failure, but the one I crafted through decision and discipline. That's how I reprogram my reality, from the inside out. Not through luck, not through chance, but through aggressive self-command. I don't speak as a victim. I speak as a creator. My words are not empty. They are instructions. My mind does not resist them because I've trained it to respond with obedience, not hesitation. I've built that trust day by day with consistency, with clarity, with force. And when I fall short, I don't entertain guilt. I recalibrate. I speak power again. I replace the weakness with strength because belief is a habit, not a moment. It's a system of thoughts, not a burst of emotion. I don't just believe in myself. I build that belief daily, like a bricklayer, word by word, command by command. People ask how I stay focused, how I keep pushing. The answer is simple. I don't give my mind the option to do otherwise. I decide who I am, and I feed it to my mind until it aligns, until it obeys, until it acts in harmony with the image I've declared. That's what separates me. That's what gives me the edge. I don't hope to believe. I command it. I know how dangerous the wrong belief can be. One small lie, you're not good enough, you always fail, you don't have what it takes, can infect the system like a virus. I treat those lies like enemies. I don't argue with them, I execute them, and I replace them with truth, my truth, the one I've earned, the one I've proven, the one I speak with fire until there's no room for anything else. This is not fake confidence, this is control.
Mental discipline.
I am not ruled by the world's labels. I don't let my past write my future. I let my voice, the one I've sharpened through storms and scars, declare what's next. And my mind, like a loyal soldier, follows that voice without question. Because I've made it clear, I'm in charge. I lead, it follows. The reason people fail isn't lack of talent. It's because they allow their mind to believe lies. They let insecurity become a script. They repeat the wrong words until those words become their world. I refuse to do that. I choose power. I choose precision. Every sentence I speak to myself is strategic. It's fuel. It's armor. It's war paint. My mind obeys what I command it to believe, and I command greatness. I command strength. I command grit. Not someday, now, not when it's easy, especially when it's not. That's the discipline, or that's the difference. I've trained it to snap into focus when others collapse. I've programmed it to see pressure as a trigger to rise, not retreat. I've conditioned it to chase challenge, not comfort. because that's who I am. That's who I've chosen to be. And the more I speak it, the stronger it becomes. The more I repeat it, the more real it feels. The more I declare it, the more unstoppable I get. This is not magic. This is mastery. I'm not asking my mind to believe. I'm commanding it, and it's listening. I don't chase comfort. I chase greatness. Comfort is the drug that kills ambition silently. It whispers lies, telling you that you've done enough, that you deserve to relax, that ease is the goal. But I know the truth. Comfort is the enemy. It dulls the edge. It makes you soft. It steals your hunger. And I refuse to let that poison into my life. I wasn't born to play it safe. I wasn't designed to be average. I was built for fire. I was built for pressure. I was built to become more. And you don't become more by doing less. Every day the world gives you two options. Chase what feels good or chase what builds strength. One path is paved with distractions, with instant gratification, with the illusion of happiness. The other path is filled with challenge, sacrifice, and demand. But at the end of it stands power, purpose, and a legacy no one can deny. I don't hesitate. I choose the hard road. I choose the climb. I choose the struggle. Because greatness is not given. It is earned, brick by brick, battle by battle, and only by those who are willing to walk through hell to reach it. The people who stay in their comfort zones never find out who they could have become. They stay locked in routines, doing just enough to get by. They talk big, dream small, and wonder why nothing changes. That's not me. I destroy comfort like it's the enemy, because it is. I seek the edge. I chase the next level. Not because I'm unhappy, but because I know what's possible when I push beyond what's easy. Comfort tells you to settle. But I'm not here to settle. I'm here to dominate. When I wake up, I don't look for the warm path. I look for the friction. I look for the resistance that will make me sharper. I train when I'm tired. I focus when I'm bored. I act when no one is watching. Because I know the secret. Greatness is not a moment. It's a mindset. It's a standard you set and never lower, no matter how tempting it is to relax. And most people can't do it because they've made peace with average. I never will. My life is not about what's easy. It's about what's necessary. And what's necessary is sacrifice. What's necessary is repetition. What's necessary is doing what most won't so I can live how most can't. Greatness requires obsession. It demands relentless effort. It doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do. And that's why I win. Because I've made a decision, comfort will never be my priority. Growth will. Pain will. Struggle will. Because I know those are the signals that I'm becoming someone powerful. Every time I choose discipline over distraction, I grow. Every time I choose pressure over peace, I level up. Every time I say no to the easy route, I move closer to the person I'm meant to be. And that version of me doesn't flinch in the face of discomfort. He feeds on it. He's forged by it. He's defined by it. Because pressure isn't punishment, it's progress. Struggle isn't suffering, it's sculpting. And I welcome it with open arms. I've buried the lie that life should be easy. I've replaced it with the truth. The hard path is the real path. The dark hours, the lonely work, the moments where it would be easier to quit, that's where champions are made. That's where legends are born. And I didn't come this far to fall in love with comfort. I came to rise. I came to fight. I came to break records, not routines. The people who make history are not the ones who took the shortcut. They're the ones who suffered for something greater. They bled for their purpose. They sacrificed sleep, attention, temporary joy, all for the fire inside them that refused to die. And I've got that same fire. It burns every time I say no to comfort and yes to challenge. It reminds me that easy will never make me proud. Only effort will. Comfort tries to convince you that you're already enough. Greatness says you can become more. Comfort tells you to be still. Greatness demands that you move. Comfort rewards you now. Greatness pays you forever. I know which one I'm choosing every time, no debate, no doubt. So I don't chase comfort. I chase the discomfort that builds strength. I chase the discipline that builds character. I chase the grind that shapes champions. I chase the habits that turn potential into power. Because at the end of the day, it's not the soft life I'll be proud of. It's the hard-fought victories. The days I showed up when I didn't want to. The moments I chose sacrifice over satisfaction. The nights I outworked my excuses. That's what defines me. That's what makes me different. I'll never be the one who chose comfort and watched life pass by. I'll be the one who went all in, the one who burned for something greater, the one who looked comfort in the eye and said, "Get out of my way, I've got work to do." So now you know comfort is not your ally, it is your anchor. It holds you in place while the world passes you by. But you were not born to stand still. You were not created to be average. You are here to build, to break limits, to rise beyond every weakness, every excuse, and every comfort zone that tries to contain you. This life, your life, belongs to the one who dares to chase greatness, not what's easy. So burn this into your mind. You will not settle. You will not stop. You will not give in to softness, laziness, or the false safety of mediocrity. You chase the hard path because you know it leads to power. You chase the pain because it leads to growth. You chase the pressure because it forges greatness. And from this day forward, no matter the cost, no matter the climb, you choose greatness over comfort every single time.